Well, welcome back everyone to the Made by Hand Shop. I'm Bobby Sharp. On this episode, we're going to address an issue that we have with our television. We decided to move it from our entertainment center and place it on the mantle above our fireplace. To accomplish this, we put a piece of plywood up there and clamped it on the ends. Well, this worked very well, but unfortunately you can see all of the wires. So I've come up with a mantle extension that has a cavity in it, and we can use that cavity to run wires from one end out to the middle, and there'll be a skirt in the middle to kind of hide all of the wires as they go up to the television. Well, I hope you stick around and watch this build. I think it's going to be very interesting. I haven't seen anything else like it on YouTube. So let's get started.
Here I'm simply cutting a fresh edge on the top and then cutting the top to its finished width. I'm using my DIY track saw and DeWalt circular saw. You will notice the dust port on the circular saw. I will link a video above for information on this dust port. And while you're here, I'd love for you to join me in this journey on YouTube. And all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. And you can hit the bell if you would like to receive notifications of uploads. These are the parts that will make up the skirting and support for the top. Here I'm setting up my cross-cut sled stop block to make multiple cuts for the support pieces. I'll also cut 2 skirt pieces. This is the front skirting. My shop isn't wide enough to fit this piece on my cross-cut sled, so I'm using the miter saw. I'm drilling a relief and a hole to fit 4 T-nuts. These T-nuts will serve as a clamp to hold the mantle extension to the existing mantle top. And I'm simply driving in the T-nuts. Now I'll assemble the end support pieces. This consists of 3 pieces: the front skirt, a lower and upper support piece. The pieces with the T-nuts will be on the bottom. The socket Allen set screws will go in from the bottom and screw upwards. By the way, both ends are assembled in the same manner, so we will move ahead in the assembly. These small cleats are to support the top. They will be sandwiched between the existing top and the mantle extension top. Hopefully this will help with sagging of the new top. I'm off camera, but I'm putting glue on the end of this support assembly. I then simply drive some brads in to hold it while the glue dries. The opposing end is installed just the same. I'm cutting out the relief in the right end support assembly. This relief is the opening that all the cabling will exit the cavity below the extension top. Well, I'm just using my chisel here to clean up the cut. The blade left a really rough surface. Next, we will work on the opening in the top. I use the table saw to make a cut along the edge of the opening. Then I use my jigsaw to remove the waste from the middle. Once I have the opening formed, I used some double-sided tape and a board to form a straight edge. Using the router with a flush trim bit, I will clean up the edge left by the jigsaw. After that, I cleaned up the corners with the chisel. These pieces will make up the skirt. The skirt is installed around the middle opening. This skirt is being used to hide the wiring going from the TV equipment to the TV. This 3/4 MDF board is being formed into the molding for the edges of the top. I'm using a round over bit that is dropped down to form a relief at the top. Then on the underside, a larger round over bit is used to profile that edge. The routed edge on the other side will not allow me to freehand with the router. So I'm using the router table. Next, we will rip the pieces and cut those to the proper length at a 45 on the corners and do a light sanding.
Well, many of you that normally tune in to the episodes of the Made by Hand shop know that I band most of my projects with poplar. That way it will cover up the plies of the plywood. But in this case, I thought I would try something different and take a piece of MDF and make some edge trim with it. So next we will nail that on the edge, glue it, and see how it turns out.
Nothing special here, just cutting the front trim to its final length with 45s on each end. I had to remove the miter saw from its home to have enough room for the trim to hang off of the crosscut sled. I also moved the outfeed table away from the table saw stand so the motor can be tilted to 45 degrees. I'm seriously considering moving the table saw. This problem happens a lot. Maybe a future series on a new shop layout? Stay tuned. Time to glue and nail on the edge trim. And a little sanding and more sanding. Okay, a little bit of an audible call here. I decided to use pocket holes to secure the support frame to the top. I even placed a pocket hole in the end of the support pieces. Using the Craig jig like this worked great. I just needed a longer clamp. And now let's install those pocket hole screws to hold the frame to the top. Now it's time to install the skirt that frames the center opening. Nothing special here, just glue and a brad nail. I did shoot a couple pin nails into the 1/4 inch MDF.
Alright, so this is the Mantle Extension that's over our fireplace in our house. This box, what this is the TV will sit in front of this, and this little skirt here will hide the wires that go to the television and go to our TV devices, the DVD player, the cable box, and the surround sound. So this is just a way to hide those wires when they come off the back of the TV. Also, I'm going to incorporate a power strip in here so that other things that are on the mantle can be plugged in and we won't have cords running all over the place. You see these holes here, these are T-nuts, and I actually glued a piece of poplar on top of that. It's just glued in the middle so that it will bend. these are going to have set screws in there, and that is so that when this slides over the existing mantle top, I can put some Allen set screws in here, probably about 1/2 inch long or 3/4 of an inch long, and those will be hidden, but they will also serve as a clamp to make this secure onto the existing mantle. So I'm going to prime this now, and it looks really good. I did not have enough poplar on hand to make banding for this, but I used the MDF, and I must say that I'm kind of impressed with this. It machines very well. I don't like MDF because it's so dusty, but this looks really good. I mean, it glued on. I used the pin nailer. It didn't split it. And you saw me shoot a couple of those pin nails in the front and actually go in the center of this 1/4 inch MDF for this. Now that I did try one of those off camera to see how lucky I would get or how easy it would be. And as long as you pretty much have the gun parallel with the piece you're shooting into, it will go in there. The pin nail is very, very, very small. So, yeah. So we'll go around and do some finish sanding, and I'll put some primer on this. All right, I have everything off of the mantle, and let me grab the extension piece, and then we'll slide it on the existing mantle. All right, that was a little bit harder than I expected it to be. It's a lot tighter than I thought it was going to be. So now let me put the TV up here, and we'll see how it looks kind of halfway finished. All right, I've got most of the components hooked up. There's a little bit of cable management that I need to do on this side of the fireplace once we get everything hooked up. But this is a drastic improvement from what we had before, because all the wires were just coming right off the end of the fireplace, or the mantle, excuse me, and there was really no way to make those unsightly, if you will. So there is a power strip in this box in the back, so all the power that's required up here can be plugged in there, and then there's a cable coming out of the end of the extension. Well, I hope you have learned something from this episode. If anything, you were entertained. I would appreciate it if you would check out some of the other videos that I have on my YouTube channel, and please consider subscribing. But as always, be all you can be, but best of all, be sharp. Stay safe in your shop, everyone.